Village people, Bessie Head. Poverty has a home in Africa, like a quiet second skin. It may be the only place on earth where it is worn with an unconscious dignity. People do not look down at your shoes, which are caked with years of mud and split so that the toes stick out. They look straight and deeply into your eyes to see if you are friend or foe. That is all that matters. To some extent, I think that this eye-looking, this intense human awareness is a reflection of the earth all about. There is no end to African sky and to African land. One might say that in its vastness is a certain kind of watchfulness that strips man down to his simplest form. If that is not so, then there must be some other unfathomable reason for the immense humanity and the extreme gentleness of the people of my village. Poverty here has majority backing. Our lives are completely adapted to it. Each day we eat a porridge of millet in the morning, a thicker millet porridge with a piece of boiled meat at midday, and at evening we repeat breakfast. We use our heads to transport almost everything: water from miles and miles, bags of corn and maize, and firewood. This adaptation to difficult conditions in a permanently drought-stricken country is full of calamity. Babies die most easily of starvation and malnutrition, and yet, within this pattern of adaptation, people crowd in about the mother and sit in heavy silence, absorbing the pain, till, to the mother, it is only a dim, dull ache folded into the stream of life. It is not right. There is a terrible mindlessness about it, but what alternative? To step out of this mindless safety and face the pain of life alone when the balance is heavily weighted down on one side is for certain to face a fate far worse. Those few who have are insane in a strange, quiet, harmless way, walking all about the village freely. Only by their ceaseless muttering and half-clothed bodies are they distinguishable from others. It is not right, as it is negative merely to strive for existence. There must be other ingredients boiling in the pot. Yet how? We are in the middle of nowhere. Most communication is by ox cart or sledge. Poverty also creates strong currents of fear and anxiety. We are not outgoing. We tend to push aside all new instructions. We live and survive by making as few demands as possible. Yet, under the deceptive peace around us, we are more easily confused and torn apart than those with the capacity to take in their stride the width and the reach of new horizons. Do we really retain the right to develop slowly, admitting change only insofar as it keeps pace with our limitations? Or does change descend upon us as a calamity? I merely ask this because, anonymous as we are, in our favor is a great credit balance of love and warmth that the gods somewhere should count up. It may be that they overlook desert and semi-desert places. I should like to remind them that there are people here too who need taking care of. The old woman. She was so frail that her whole body swayed this way and that like a thin stalk of corn in the wind. Her arms were as flat as boards, the flesh hung loosely, and her hands, which clutched the walking stick, were turned outwards and nobbled with age. Under her long dress also swayed the tattered edges of several petticoats. The ends of two bony stick legs peeped out. She had on a pair of sand shoes. The toes were all sticking out, so that the feet flapped about in them. She wore each shoe on the wrong foot, so that it made the heart turn over with amusement. Yet she seemed so strong that it was a shock when she suddenly bent double, retched and coughed emptily, and crumbled to the ground like a quiet sigh. "What is it? What's the matter?" I asked. "Water. Water," she said faintly. "Wait a minute. I shall ask at this hut here if there is any water." "What is the matter?" they asked. "The old lady is ill," I said. "No," she said curtly, "I'm not ill. I'm hungry." The crowd laughed in embarrassment that she should display her needs so nakedly. They turned away, but old ladies have no more shame left. They are like children. They give way to weakness and cry openly when they are hungry. "Never mind," I said. "Hunger is a terrible thing. My hut is not far away. This small child will take you. Wait till I come back, then I shall prepare food for you." Then it was late afternoon. The old lady had long passed from my mind when a strange young woman, unknown to me, walked into the yard with a pail of water on her head. She set it down outside the door and squatted low. "Good day, how are you?" I said. She returned the greeting, keeping her face empty and carefully averted. It's impossible to say, "What do you want? Whom are you looking for?" It's impossible to say this to a carefully averted face and a body that squats quietly, patiently. I looked at the sky helplessly. I looked at the trees. I looked at the ground, but the young woman said nothing. I didn't know her inside or out. Many people I do not know who know me inside or out, and always it's this way, this silence. A curious neighbor looked over the hedge. "What's the matter?" she asked. I turned my eyes to the sky again, shrugging helplessly. "Please ask the young woman what she wants, whom she's looking for." The young woman turned her face to the neighbor, still keeping it averted, and said quietly, "No, tell her she helped our relative who collapsed this morning. Tell her the relatives discussed the matter. Tell her we had nothing to give in return, only that one relative said she passes by every day on her way to the water tap. Then we decided to give a pail of water. It is all we have. Tell them, too. Tell them how natural, sensible, normal is human kindness. Tell them, those who judge my country, Africa, by gain and greed, that the gods walk about her barefoot, with no ermine and gold-studded cloaks." Summer sun. All day long I lie asleep under the thorn tree, and the desert is on this side of me and on that side of me. I have no work to do. We are all waiting for the rain, as we cannot plough without rain. I think the rain has gone away again, like last year. We had little rain in November, but December has gone, and now it is January, and each day we have been sitting here waiting for rain. My mother, my grandmother and my grandfather, my cousin Lebena, and my sister and her little baby. If it were to rain, my grandfather would push the plough, and my cousin Lebena would pull the oxen across the great miles of our land. We women would follow behind, sowing maize, millet, pumpkin, and watermelon seed. I feel great pity for my family and other families. I wonder why we sit here like this. Each day the sun is hot, hot in the blue sky. Each day the water pool of November rain gets smaller. Soon we will have to leave the land and return to the village. In the village we have a politician who takes the people up on the hill to pray for rain. He wears a smart suit and has a big black car and a beautiful deep African voice. His mind is quick and moves from one thing to another. He can pray and cry and speak politics all at once. People always expect the rain to fall the minute after he has stopped praying and crying. They call him the man who has shaken God loose. Actually, I've not been sleeping the whole day. I'm trying to learn English. My cousin Lebena tells me that things are changing in Africa and that it's necessary for women to improve themselves. I love my cousin Lebena so much that I do anything he tells me to do. He tells me that English is the best language to learn, as many books have been written in English, and that there is no end to the knowledge that can be gained from them. He gave me a geography book and I've read it over and over. I'm puzzled and afraid. Each year the sun is more cruel. Each year the rain becomes less and less. Each year more and more of our cattle die. The only animal that survives is the goat. It can eat anything and we eat the goat. Without the goat I do not know what we would do. It's all about us, like the family. It has the strangest eyes. They are big and yellow, and the pupil is a black streak right across the yellow ball of the eye. I'm trying to improve myself too, as I'm very afraid that I may have an illegitimate baby like my elder sister. My family will suffer much, and the child too. It may die. There's never enough food and we are always hungry. It's not so easy for a woman to have too many babies when she has improved her mind. She has to think about how she will feed the baby, clothe it and wash it. My sister's baby is lovely though. He laughs a lot for no reason at all. My geography book makes me wonder and wonder. It tells me that water is formed by hydrogen and oxygen. I wonder so much about that. If we had green things everywhere, they might help to make the oxygen to make the rain. The soil is very fertile. If there's only a little rain, green things come out everywhere and many strange flowers. How can we live like this? Here are our bags with the seeds of maize and millet, and the land as hard as stone. Tomorrow the sun will rise. Quietly, the many birds in the bush will welcome it. I do not. Alone, without the help of rain, it is cruel, killing and killing. All day we look on it like on death. Then, at evening, all is as gentle as we are. Mother roasts goat meat over the coals of the wood fire. Sister feeds her baby. Grandfather and Cousin Lebena talk quietly to each other about little things. The stars spread across the sky and bend down at the horizon. The quiet talk of Grandfather and Cousin Lebena seemed to make earth and heaven come together. I do not know what we would do if we all did not love one another, because tomorrow the sun will rise again.